the 27th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Last weekend, I witnessed a Catholic wedding, and during the rehearsal the night before, I was talking to the prospective husband, and he had just returned. He is in the Army, and he is in the Rangers, and this week, the week before, he had performed his first parachute jump. And I asked him to describe it, and he told me it was first 4 seconds was free fall, and then the hard part was hitting the ground. And I said, this is a perfect image of marriage in a way. It's an act of faith that lands in a hard fall on the earth. That's a great image. And we laughed at that. And the reason I talk about that here at the beginning is the readings today seem to be about marriage. The creation narrative from Genesis of man and woman and animals and birds. And Genesis has what we're going to call Adam, naming. And naming was a way of exercising authority over. I name you, so I control you. But then, in the creation of woman, it doesn't say he named them. He said, she shall be called a partner. Here's the bottom line here. You could end the homily here. God will never give us anything or anyone who will totally complete us. And people have said that out of Adam, this Eve, this woman came, and that Adam has been looking for that part, was looking for himself. That maybe marriage is a way of looking for what was taken. And we know that's not true. We'll leave that for a while. The gospel continues that the Pharisees are not too interested in marriage, what Moses said about divorce, but trying to test Jesus whether he is a person of the law or not. But then Jesus tells them what Moses did and why he did it. But then he takes a little child and he says, those who can receive the kingdom like a little child without having to answer clear questions and not being governed by law, but relationship, they enter the kingdom. The little ones. So what are we seeking in life is probably at the center of the readings today. I think, could we possibly, this is a little crazy, but could we, by being human, be created to experience the disappointments of seeking perfection or the disappointment of seeking completion? And we can be disappointed in anything because nothing can totally complete us. We'll always be reaching, hoping, wanting. And so marriage and unmarriage. Life is the call of Jesus out of the airplane of contentment, out of the airplane of knowledge, and have a free fall into faith. Marriage, in a way, is where dreams end, where reality is a hard landing. Is God cruel that way? That God doesn't give us total completion here? That maybe our real peacefulness is not wanting to control, naming, but to the area of divorce, it usually is because of dissatisfaction. Marriage in the Catholic Church is a mirror of God's infinite marriage to humanity. That's what a Catholic marriage is. The sacrament of it is a revelation of infinite love of God, never being divorced from our human condition. And why isn't marriage allowed? Because it would be a breakup of the image that God cannot divorce us. So there cannot be divorce, though there is. But in the Catholic Church, the two are still living the sacrament of marriage, but separately. They're not unmarried. And Jesus says that once you're divorced, you don't remarry, unless there was an annulment, but that's another issue. The question is, can we be like a little child that trusts? And we make commitments, and we love. But the people we love are going to be a disappointment, and fidelity is, what do you do with the disappointments? How can you receive God's infinite married love to each of us, sacramentalized in holy matrimony? But it's destined. You're going to be a partner, but not a completer. And so in the Catholic Church, married people say, by how I live, the dream that I can be God for you is broken. The dream that I would like to be is broken, but I will lead you to understanding your createdness. I will help God continue to create you, the wife says to the husband, and the husband says, I will assist God in continuing your creation, but I won't be your complete creator. I am an assistant. The Pharisees wanted answers. They didn't want to get out of the plane. They didn't want to jump into the free fall of faith. But Jesus is calling his apostles and his followers that nothing can complete you. Only the free fall of faith that has hard landings, hard realities, the earth, living with your earthliness is very difficult. And the companionship of husband and wife doesn't take away the hardship, but encourages the living on the earth, in the earthliness of you and the other. So that's where the Catholic sacrament is. Not staying in the plane, not expecting free fall, not expecting the wife to be, or the husband to be, the parachute that takes away anything and everything. No, Jesus walked the earth. We are created to walk the earth as companions in faith, accompanied by the married partners and the children and friends and family, all encouraging us to keep living on the earth accompanied by God's grace. God names us. In Christ we are his body. We are asked to receive it and share it, as is done in marriage.